Hey folks, it's Patriot Nurse, and in today's segment I want to get you guys prepared for dealing with the winter nasties. There is a lot of stuff happening right now. Whether or not stuff really accelerates here in the United States, whether or not poop hits the fan, hardcore or not, I want to make sure that we cover some things with you guys to get you all ready for the winter. And I want to go over with you today the major diseases, the major causes of diseases in wintertime, and some of the things we can do practically to curtail that, right? And also some of the supplies that I store I want to share with you guys to try and help you get ready. So first things first, let's talk about what causes the disease boom in the wintertime and what are the sources, what can we do about it. First thing to understand, in wintertime, because it tends to be cold outside unless you live in the tropics or in Florida, or I have people who watch me in Central America, it's a little bit different. In the wintertime, it's cold outside, so people tend to be shoved together, right? And also we have the holiday season and folks are, getting together anyway, all right? Disease tends to explode whenever you have more humans in a smaller enclosed space, especially when you have humans under the age of 5, because the humans under the age of 5 tend to do things like, oh, mommy, I have a present for you, here's a poopy, or oh, mommy, here's a big boogie for you, okay? So our little munchkins, they tend to spread disease really quickly, especially when their hands go in different pots. Now, what does this mean for us? How are we going to combat disease and curtail it? Okay, in the winter time, there's a few different things that we can do to cut down on disease. Number one, wash your hands. And it's sort of like yawn, Patriot Nurse, like, can you tell me something new? Here's the thing, guys, okay? Washing your hands is critical for a whole bunch of different reasons. I have a video on how to wash your hands like a boss. Washing your hands, okay, cuts down on a lot of the surface level bacteria here. It doesn't necessarily have to be with soap even, okay, even just with water, all right? Friction on the surface here cuts down on the transmission of disease back and forth. If we get into a situation, guys, where things start to get dicey here, and they may very well do that very soon, you've got to make sure that you're paying attention to that. And it is so tempting to just, nah, I don't have time, I need to go. No. When you go to the potty, wash your hands. When you are conscious that you've coughed on them, like, you need to do something about that. And even with your kids, okay, we need to train them to cough into your elbow, all right? Mr. Elbow loves sneezes. Can you tell I have a background in working with kids? We need to make sure that we're paying attention to that. Now, something that ladies, especially those of us who take care of homes, and guys, you too, we have got to make sure to keep surfaces clean, especially your high traffic surfaces. So let me ask you, here's a quick question here. Let me ask you a question. What areas of your home are the highest traffic? Where do those hands touch most? Take a minute, think about it. All right, here's mine. Front door handle, the refrigerator door, oh yeah, that's a big one. The toilet, okay, near the toilet area, the faucet, okay, in the bathroom, the door handle to and from the bathroom, all right, keys, remotes, anything where you have lots of different hands or hands touching it frequently, you've got to pay attention and clean that, okay, because that can be an area where disease is transmitted back and forth. Guys, respiratory diseases are bad enough in the best of times, all right? But when you get into a situation where you don't have anywhere to take people to, you've got to make sure and nip stuff in the bud early. And a lot of this has to do with, number one, hydrating people, keeping them hydrated, but two, catching stuff early enough on, nipping it in the bud early so that way it doesn't progress and avalanche into some festering, nasty lower respiratory infection, okay? So coughs, colds, influenza, pneumonia, bronchitis, ear infections with kids. Okay, one of the things that you can, if you're Dr. Mom or whoever in the house, this is a pocket otoscope, okay? So you look into somebody's ear here, for those of you who have kids with chronic ear infections, okay? It lets you be able to peer in there and see what the status is of the eardrum. I'll put a link to this. I think I paid like 40 bucks for it. It works great. I'll put a link in the description box below, but it's a nice thing to have at home if you're a mom with kids who have, chronic ear infections, or you've got somebody in your family for whom that's an issue. Check it out for sure. Something else that you have got to make sure you're squared away on, guys, for respiratory diseases, okay? Water. You have got to make sure that you have a way to purify your water, all right? The thing that I use is the Big Berkey, okay? I run that in the house. I keep 2 of them running, okay? There are 2, I like to have, for me personally, I like to have 2 different ways to purify my water at all times. 2 is one is none, but the Berkey is running all the time in the house. If you have not gotten your water squared away now, guys, you are behind the power curve. Get it done today. I'll put a link in the description box below to the Berkey. I love it. Use whatever you want, but that's just what's worked for me, okay? You've got to have a way to purify your water. Because let me explain something, guys. The respiratory diseases, they're nothing to screw around with, okay? These things used to kill a ton of people, and they still do kill a ton of people worldwide, okay? Not hydrating people is a really bad recipe for making a cough and cold going worse, okay? Because what happens is whenever you've got junk and crud that starts accumulating up here, it migrates down into here, all right? And when it starts getting into here, then it goes lower into the lungs, all right? And when you get lower into the lungs and that stuff gets compacted and crustified, okay? There's picture your nurse's new verb for the day. When it gets compacted and crustified because that person's dehydrated and they're not coughing that stuff out, it is a recipe for pneumonia, all right? And that is not something that I want to be dealing with. Again, you know, your vulnerable populations here, your little babies, your small kids, your little old grannies, and your infants who are bottle fed and not breastfed, okay? They are at an increased risk for contracting these, all right? All right, now some things to store for the winter months that I really want you guys to consider adding. Let's push pause here and I will go ahead and get you some of the stuff that I recommend, okay? Okay guys, so I want to show you a few of the things here that I recommend for winter time if you want to store them. I'll put links in the description box below to all of these items. First things first is the Prescription for Herbal Healing by the author is Phyllis Balk. This is an excellent resource that is cross-referenced not only by the disease process, so like bronchitis, asthma, pneumonia, whatever, but it's also cross-referenced by different herbs and what they're useful for. So this is a marvelous resource. Definitely get a hard copy in case the grid goes down and keep it in your survival medicine bookshelf. Another thing here I recommend is green Vibrance. This is a supplement, a whole food supplement that I take just about every day. When I'm at home, it has a whole bunch of different things on the back here. You can look on the link here that I'll furnish below. But to summarize this is full of a ton of different probiotics and trace minerals, tonics, blood tonics, like bunches of good stuff here. So this is one of the things that I recommend. One of the interesting things we're finding out here, emerging science is seeming to show at this point that the bugs present in your gut and your intestines directly correlate to your overall health, and this is a great way to keep your gut bugs happy. If your gut bugs are happy, you will be happy. This is the Sam's version of the mucus relief. This is generic guafin essence, a good thing to store. It helps when paired with water, for sure. It helps to decrease the surface tension on your phlegm and kind of help break some of the nasties up here. Oil of oregano, I would consider this my frontline alternative antibiotic. 2 to 3 capsules, 2 to 3 times a day is what I end up using for whenever I feel a cough or cold coming on. This is another thing from Gaia Health. The Gaia is probably my favorite go-to for herbal supplements, etc. I find that they consistently have very, very high quality. They're a little bit more expensive, but I think it's worth it based on my experience with different things that I've tried. This is the Adrenal Health Booster, where a lot of us running around quite stressed out. You know, our money, it doesn't go as far as it used to, for sure. And folks are having to work longer hours and make do, and your adrenals can get fried. Your adrenals are basically the body's organ for managing stress, and whenever they get overtaxed, it will show up in the rest of your system in different ways. Weight gain, an increased likelihood for contracting disease. So make sure that your adrenal health is taken care of. And what is this down here? Ginger. I juice ginger and apples and lots of green stuff on a regular basis. Ginger is wonderful. It's a circulatory tonic. It's also an anti-inflammatory. Really good for the respiratory nasties. And again, this is the Dr. Mom Pocket Otoscope. I think I paid like 40 bucks for it. Definitely worth it. Very, very helpful. And I got a link in the description box below. And these down here are the oils that I use. This I actually found when I was in Thailand. It's called Siong Pure Oil. And I found it quite useful for like rubbing over the top of your chest, you know, when you've got a cough or cold going on. Another thing down here, we've got frankincense and RC. This is a mixture from Young Living. I signed up for Young Living mainly for these blends. The Young Living blends were my absolute favorite. But Young Living is it's a referral-based company. So if you like me, you're like to knock stuff over here. But RC is my favorite as far as the Young Living mixtures for respiratory stuff. And frankincense is also really helpful for breathing in and kind of helps supporting your respiratory health overall. But if you're interested, I'll put a link, my referral link, in the description box below. If you're interested in Young Living, you can sign up. Go for it. If not, then that's whatever you want to do, y'all. So these are the things that I recommend for storing up for, definitely for the winter, for managing, you know, your respiratory health and staving off the nasties. I hope today's video was helpful for y'all today. If you did enjoy the video, please subscribe to me, like me on Facebook, and follow me on Twitter. Also, check out the classes that are coming up. I have space, I only have a few spaces left in the Valley Ridge class in Harrogate, Tennessee, coming up in October, and the Charlotte class in December is filling up pretty fast too. The 2016 schedule is out on the website for Medical Prep 101 and 201, so check it out, thepatriotnurse.com. Hope it was helpful for y'all, and for now it's Patriot Nurse signing off, and I will see you guys later. Bye.